people should go to the website and kind of find out how they can get benefits. But there are four important ways where I see people can benefit. Number one, we are all co-authoring, and we have taken a very different approach over here, right? So it's a book by the security and technology professions for the security and technology professions, right? So here, as Poorna mentioned earlier, and like when we are starting and we are having discussion with Pavi about the table of contents, we started with very basic things: people, process, and technology, right? Those are the things which comes to the mind. But as a professionals, people are looking at that. While Jyoti, she works at Fidelity, it's a Fortune 500, whereas we have Poorna and all who are in a very small financial company. So there is a different spectrum, and the cross pollination and learning, like as Poorna mentioned, we are not fighting with each other. We are actually benefiting, and like as Jyoti mentioned, we are learning from other sectors and technologies. Like Roblox is just kind of growing, or like there are other small financial companies. So I think so that is a good thing. And when I did my MBA back in the day, the biggest learning was not from the professors, if you will. With all due respect, yes, you do learn, but it's from the community and from the side. So having a kind of similar cohort over here, if you will, is a great idea. So, again, I encourage people to, sign up and kind of participate. You will have an access to the early access to the book. We will be sharing the contents here, the table of contents, and you as a reader, like you can tell what would you really like to hear, right? From Gary's, Jyoti's, Pavi's, Punas of the world, that okay, these are the things. So it's again encourage. We want to provide feedback. The book will be launched in Q3 of this year, but that's number one. Second thing is the free and exclusive resources, right? Like, so I just call out like Pavi's book presentation. The other day she was presenting. Now in her 25, 30 years of careers, like she had gathered that information from various different places to put together a template. So now if you are becoming a CISO, right? So you don't have to again reinvent the wheel over here. You can become a member, and this is all free community. You can go get that information. One of the big challenges which has happened recently is especially after some of the big breaches in software community, how do I make a business case? Like it's not a budgeted line item, right? Like, of course, Jyoti has been blessed and she has done a lot of experience and research in building those business cases. So you can learn, we will be having free resources, but you can directly reach out to, leaders like her. And then, Anshu, who's again a purple book co-author, is not here part of the panel. He's a KPI expert, right? So whenever you're starting a kind of a new program, if you will, you have to have things which are measurable, right? And another important thing is there's not a single security leader who is not hiring. So, and people are always looking for growth. So we do plan to have, open the job boards and posting here so that, and people want to bring in people from the trusted sources, right? So that's another area. So if you want to grow your career, so, you have people who are at the pinnacle over here, you are an early entrant, so you can get a good career coaching, if you will. And again, it's Pavi mentioned on the networking front or Poorna, right? So yes, there are hundreds and thousands of ways of networking, right? But at the end of the day, it's about the quality versus the quantity. So, instead of like, of course, we have millions of the world, we have billions of users, but we do have a small mighty network, if you will. There are like hundreds again of Slack channels, but there are limitations. So here, on the mighty network, we have areas and topics. So, there's a topic which is led by Poorna, there's a topic led by Jyoti for this area of expertise. So you can directly go and reach out to the author and hear from the horse's mouth. And of course, last but not the least on this front, we have this virtual happy hours, right? Again, so I can't stop emphasizing the power of virtual happy hours. We are all, especially in the security world, going through a lot of stress and everything else. And, COVID had added to that. And, we have, I have a lot of admiration for Jyoti. Like, she had her second COVID shot, right? She's taking 2 Tylenol and she's out there because she is presenting and sharing her knowledge. So that's the passion that people have. And, the family thing, which Poorna was mentioning. And last but not the least is on the thought leadership, right? So it's all about discussion. So you can see that, how comfortable we are. It's not that, 6 months ago, we didn't even knew a lot of each other, right? And now we are on the panels, like we have a good, healthy, and we have like heated discussions because, and that's how the best things comes out, right? When you're kind of going through and brainstorming were there, and we just launched our podcast. So there are some podcasts which are out there. You should definitely listen to Purna's and Pavi's podcast, listen to their journey, how they have gone. And everybody, you're seeing the people who are there now, right? Not how they were like 20 years ago when they started their journey. Like Pavi mentioned, how she came, how she graduated, and how she had fear of mouse when she graduated, and now she is in front of the world talking about that. So there's a lot of learning from each other on the past podcast, and we would also love to learn from you. So again, if you believe your story needs to be heard, you should come here, become a member, or at the end of the day, you can say, okay, I want to be on a panel, I want to be on a webinar. And last but not the least, most important thing is a rapid response discussion. So I still remember, and you'll be hearing from Cassie, one of the other distinguished member over here. She has been doing SBOM for her whole life, right? Before people were knowing what SBOM is. And, when these breaches happened, and she immediately pointed it to Alan. Again, you will hear Alan speak down the road, which is like, what is this executive order? What is this SBOM, right? So now again, yes, you can go to internet and you can search it across, right? But here, then you can directly get and leaders like them are kind of being very gracious with their time and giving back and giving. So again, we have this panel going to be on EO and SBOM very shortly. But again, these panels, and today what we are doing is we are just showcasing, right, what is the flavor and how we are here, how we are contributing, why you should be part of it. So before that, I know we are getting top of the hour.
Also add one thing, Nikhil. I agree with you 100% on everything. And I also wanted to ask, what challenges do you have when you are, what type of problems, because the problems and challenges you're facing are not the same. It depends, it's unique. And we can have a discussion point. We can have a survey that says, here's the most coveted topic we want to discuss on, bring that on. And that's how the community works. Today, we may say KPIs are my most important problem to face. How do you measure the success of a program? Versus somebody else may say, no, how do I integrate pen test in my day-to-day schedule? So we would love to hear from you in this community on what your topics you want to listen to. We want to cater to that. And we want to listen to your challenges and your roadblocks, your obstacles that maybe one of us has already faced when we were implementing it in one of our work experiences. So I just wanted to add that as well.